Welcome back to another episode of Lessons in Leverage. I'm your host, Spencer Lowe. In this episode, we'll explore how 2 out of 3 primary levers for growth are fundamentally tied to the quality of your product or service. From elevating customer experiences to generating powerful testimonials and referrals, learn how expanding your reach and reducing churn can transform your business. We'll also challenge you to imagine growing purely through referrals and what that would imply for your quality standards. Join us as we dive into why every growth problem is ultimately a quality issue and how each of us plays a role in solving it.
Welcome to Lessons in Leverage, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of success. We'll help you unlock the secrets of leverage so you can amplify your impact in the world. Here's your host, Spencer Lowe.
Sometimes it can be easy to think that if we're having not the growth, we're not seeing the growth we want, or we're not growing as fast as we want, that must be a sales issue. And in fact, I see a lot of businesses where they want to grow faster, and so they invest all their time, energy, money into sales and marketing initiatives. And that is a way to grow. Certainly that is generally the engine of new customer acquisition. But when you think about business growth, it's actually a very simple math equation that I want to lay out for you. Okay? Think of an example of water, okay? And picture water being poured into a bucket. The water coming into the bucket is new customer acquisition. And depending on how much water you pour in, that's going to change how much is in the bucket. So obviously, growing, you're going to grow by pouring more into the bucket. But then, once the water's in the bucket, the size of the bucket also affects how much water you have. The size of the bucket, let's call that customer lifetime value, what it's worth long-term in terms of revenue or profit that we get from the customer to have brought them in. And so once they're in the bucket, we got to have enough space to, succeed with them. And the way we make that bucket bigger is we offer them more value, and we're able to then transact with them or earn more of their revenue long term. So a bigger bucket means now the company's growing with no new water in there. So that alone is a way that we can continuously grow. If we can find more and more ways to delight customers, then we don't need any new customers to grow. And last, every company has a hole in it somewhere. So just picture that in this bucket, there's a little hole, and that hole is what we're going to call churn, or it's the amount of customers that just don't need anything from us. We don't have any more value to offer them. They've gotten all the value they can get from us, or they're unhappy and they had a bad experience. And so now that water is dribbling out the other side. And so when you think about the 3 parts to this equation, there's how much new customer revenue is coming in, there's how much that's worth to us in the bucket, and then there's how fast we're losing it out of the bucket, how much we're churning. 2 of those 3 levers are defined by the quality of the experience, the service, the product you give your customers. They're defined by how much value you create for those customers that you have. And so 2 of the 3 growth levers are quality issue first, not sales or marketing issues. And a lot of businesses get this mixed up and think that if they have a growth issue, it must be how much water is being poured into the bucket, with a total ignorance towards how big the bucket is or how big the hole is. And can you imagine if the hole in the bucket was the size of the whole bucket? You could pour new customers every month and there'd be none in there the next month. And so it wouldn't matter how many new customers you poured in because they'd all be gone the next month. So it'd be borderline impossible to grow. The only growth you'd see is how much more you can do in sales or marketing to get more and more water in. But it's never going to stay there. It's just going to flow right through. And so when you take it to the extreme, it becomes a little more obvious. So the reason this is so important to us is we believe that every growth problem is first and foremost a quality problem. What that means is it's all of our problem. It's not just sales or marketing or leadership. It's all of our problem. And we have to collectively find ways to offer more value and to delight customers in such a manner that it decreases that hole, makes churn slower or smaller. And we have to offer more value in a way that makes that lifetime value bigger. You can make lifetime value bigger in a couple ways. One is they just stay with us longer. We give them such a good experience, they keep working with us long term. The longer that relationship gets, the more money we make. The second way is we can find new ways to offer value to them. So is there more we can do in their business that offers them more value? Another way is we can find new projects to do. We can give them recommendations about how to get what they want in their business, and that can open the door to more projects together, and that makes that bucket bigger. So there's a lot of ways we could go through, but to keep it very simple, the main takeaway I want for you to think about is we can make the bucket bigger, we can decrease the size of the hole, and all of that is a quality problem in terms of our delivery first. The other thing that I want you to understand is one of the ways we get new customers to pour in the bucket is referrals from the customers that are already in the bucket or have been in the bucket. The better experience we give our customers, the more they'll give us water to put in the top of the bucket because they'll bring new customers to the table, and referrals convert at 7 times the rate in terms of closing those deals compared to just random prospects. And so when you understand that it's a much more valuable relationship with a much higher close rate, those referrals are a huge driver of business growth. And so if you're sitting there and maybe you're not in sales and you're wondering, what can I do to help us grow faster? Because I want the company to grow faster. I want to have more opportunities. I want to have, more growth, more pay, everything. Then think about this question. For where you're at in the organization, what could you do to make quality better in such a way that it would make the bucket bigger or decrease the churn? Where are there customers who might be getting ready to leave or who have recently left that you could get back into the bucket? Where is there value we could go deliver in excess of what's expected in such a way they'd want to keep working with us and would expand the bucket? Which of your customers could you ask for referrals because you've already done such a good job that will then get more water into the bucket? If we perform at the highest level in our delivery and delighting customers, we will never have a growth problem. When you are the absolute best, your customers will sell for you. Others will be attracted to you. You will not have to struggle to grow. And so every growth problem is first and foremost a quality problem, and we all can contribute to it. And every little incremental improvement compounds to make growth so much faster. So my invitation to you is that to think about, if that's true, what if we had to grow our business only on referrals? Then what would I do? How would that change the way I interact with my current customers? What would that mean? What would I go back and do for my past customers? Is there someone who left unhappy that I could go back and offer some free value to with your manager's approval that would then delight them and bring them back to the table? Is there a way that I could get a referral from somebody, right? If I had to grow my whole business through referrals, what would that change in my delivery, my approach, the way I build relationships with clients? Because if we start with that goal, that we grow the business entirely through referrals, that would mean that we have such a small churn hole and we have such a big bucket that now every little bit of water that gets added just absolutely blows up our growth, makes us grow so much faster. And that is why every growth problem is first and foremost a quality problem.
Hey, before you go, I have a small request. Our mission is to empower as many people as possible to maximize their potential through the power of leverage. Could you help us in this mission by leaving a review on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube? And if you know just one person who would benefit from today's episode, would you please share it with them? Your support means the world to us, and we are thrilled to have you in the community. Thank you for being a part of our journey and helping us grow. You can find show notes for today's show and past shows at lessonsinleverage.com, which also has links to connect with me personally and connect with our various podcast channels across your favorite social networks. A big thanks to Solve.cloud, who sponsored this episode. They're a group of expert consultants that help SaaS and financial services companies to implement, optimize, and manage Salesforce.com. They can help you with custom integration solutions and are helping customers to implement some of the most important generative AI technologies. You can find them at solved.cloud. That's SOLVD.cloud is the URL. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon.